I'm so happy to introduce our next guest today on 29th of May 2020, Shri Mahinder Patel, Chairman, Mamta Group, our industry veteran and a very prominent and respected leader who has contributed immensely with building world-class machinery. Welcome to Insights with Nidhi sir, and thank you very much for giving us the time.
Thank you, Nidhi. Thank you for thinking of me.
Always, sir. We cannot but think about you. Your family has pioneered in the machinery manufacturing in India, sir. How do you see the growth in the Indian machinery building sector going forward?
Well, as you have already answered the question by saying that we are pioneer, so we continue to pioneer. So we'll always be there. For us, as I see, the plastic machinery business is set to grow, because plastic usage of plastic will also grow. And along the way, we'll all have to learn about how to responsibly dispose the plastic and how to recycle them. That is the next challenge, which we all together as citizens and the industry have to take it together.
Agreed, sir. So in your own organization, in your manufacturing program, how have you seen a shift in the demand for machineries vertical wise?
By and large, I don't think we have seen a major drop in any particular segment as such. Almost everything is still more or less there, maybe a little bit here and there. But surprisingly, even automotive sector is still holding up. And I was very happy to hear Chand Saigalji that he believes in automotive. And by the way, they are also our customer. And we are very happy to hear that they will grow. So we'll also grow.
Yes. Yesterday, when I did ask him the question that there has been a little lull, and he said, "Really? Is there?" So I was like, "Okay, I don't have the number."
I heard him, and I was happy to hear that. Actually.
Yes, sir. That was a good sunshine.
And I think that is true with almost all segments. All the segments. Basically, 2 months of lockdown has put everything on a stop. Doesn't mean that it's going to stay there.
Yes, especially for the
especially it opens, it starts. Another few months, it will again come back to normal. I mean, the way it is, because the needs are there, and needs will in fact now increase in terms of items made out of plastic more and more.
Absolutely, sir.
Because it has now been found that plastic has got its benefits in terms of hygiene, and it ensures much better integrity of the sterilization and packaging and other things, so that you have a security of your materials, basically.
Absolutely.
As I said, the challenge is how to dispose it responsibly.
Yes.
And that the users have to do. That unfortunately the industry can only propagate, can support, can educate, can demonstrate, but every user has to be responsible to really put it in the right place. We already are saying about the disposable mask and PPE. We are seeing all kind of shocking, of course, they are all activist-oriented photographs. Sometimes I think they are staged also. I would not put it past them. That you dump like a stage there also. That also sometimes happens. It has been shown earlier. But the fact remains that we have to learn to dispose it responsibly. And there has to be a collection system by the authorities to properly take care of it. Then the recycling industry is ready. Industry is already doing it. They are more than willing to do it.
Yes, with all the banning that was happening pre-COVID, I think the recycling machinery is up and above, and they are quite in the implementation stage. They are very active. Sir, you also have flexible film packaging machine factories in USA. What factors are different that you've seen in the implementation of those plants vis-a-vis in your Indian plants?
Not a big difference. I said, well, we are fortunate that we are in America. The difference is that in America, with this lockdown, although we are in Florida, where they had a much lesser degree of lockdown, and it was open earlier to other people and things. But government relief package which was announced has benefited because ours is the American incorporated company, wholly owned subsidiary, but incorporated in America. So we already got whatever the money which were eligible, you know, as a company for the employee salaries. We already we actually have it.
What factors are different that you've seen in the implementation of those plants vis-a-vis in your Indian plants?
Not a big difference. I said, well, we are fortunate that we are in America. The difference is that in America, with this lockdown, although we are in Florida, where they had a much lesser degree of lockdown, and it was open earlier to other people, and things. But government relief package which was announced has benefited because ours is the American incorporated company, wholly owned subsidiary, but incorporated in America. So we already got whatever the money which were eligible, you know, as a company for the employee salaries. We already we actually have it. So it was.
That's very good news. In India, it's, you know, the whole, I couldn't even understand the package.
There also the bureaucracy. The first time when it was announced, we did not get it because we were a little too late in applying for it with all the intricacies of doing it. Then we had to find a right lawyer to prepare the application, and the next lot we applied in time, and then we got it. Close to $500,000, we got it.
Oh, wonderful.
But
So
that is only to be used only for salary of the people.
Understood. How would you compare it, sir? Because you have operations in USA and in India. The impetus that government has given, is it going to really help our industry in terms of MSMEs? And does the
Here in India, yes, it will help because what the government, and I think the government here has done much more wisely. Because see, we are not rich like America. Our JV partners in Germany also got a lot of money from the German government. They are rich government, so they can afford to give. How long they can afford to give, I do not know. Even they will have their own limits. But in India, we don't have that kind of rich government resources and things like that. So whatever the government has done in terms of improving the liquidity and helping to improve the liquidity very quickly. For example, our unit, we applied for whatever the limits for the working capital. Fortunately, we are debt-free in terms of long-term debt. There is zero long-term debt. All my units, we only have working capital limits. And already the limits up to 20% have been enhanced. It took only one letter, one application. We got it. It's already there in the bank.
Oh, good, sir. There is a good practicality to what
yeah, it is
the
working.
ink went on paper.
So it is a reserve. We don't really need it right now. Touch wood that, and I hope that we'll maintain our operation that way because we have been maintaining it very tightly. As I said, as a debt-free, it's been like a policy and obsession for many years. We are like that, but I don't want to take that kind of burden if we can help it.
Absolutely.
So the thing is that here, other issues are still not very clear as to regarding, for example, they are talking about helping the entrepreneur, the promoters to increase the equity by a soft loan or something. That we are, I'm waiting for that details. They are looking at some export benefits, which is of our interest because Mamta as a company, we do more than 60% export actually. For, I mean, it is somewhat sad that our machines are valued far more in Europe and America than in India. And the people, our friends, they still like Chinese machines, which is okay. I mean, I don't mind. We sell.
I'm coming to that question. That's very important question.
We sell machines in China also. I'm not worried about that. So, yeah, please.
So the new companies now would be moving towards virtual installations and also digital online after sales service. I know of a lot of, because of the demand in flexible packaging, a lot of converters who have plants overseas. I have been speaking to them, the managing team, and they have been doing this kind of installations even during the pandemic. How would you think this is really practical? And is your organization really started implementing this?
We have been sorry, you will be surprised. We have been offering remote diagnostics and remote machine checking, setting up, and servicing since last 5 years, not now. As long as the customer provides the internet connection to, we can do everything sitting in our factory. Or almost 90% of problem we can solve it through internet on the screen, which we offer since last few years. In fact, all our machines.
Okay,
And
so you didn't do anything
sorry,
new. It is already there.
there's nothing new for us. Then what is new for us is that in terms of installation, now we have to do little bit of hand holding of the, because our machines are not like plug and play that you take a TV out of a box and you plug it and you start. Our machines, they go in pieces. So you have to put together the there are at least 3-4 boxes which have to be open, and those modules have to be assembled and aligned and then checked for uniformity, etc., whatever. So it requires a little bit of a skill. Now, although we have designed in such a way that you can snap fit and all the cables are marked properly where to go, because when you take the cables from different modules to different modules, everything is properly guided and marked. So now we are actually developing. Right now we do in terms of through phone, video phone, by hand holding and tell them, okay, please do this and please do that. We want to now take it a step further. We are working on it for doing it through augmented reality, so that they will actually feel it better, and our people can actually then point it exactly, okay, this is the screw you have to touch, or this is the button you have to press, so to speak. So
Wonderful,
that
sir.
is going on, but remote is nothing new for us. At our machines, there is a limitation. For my customers like Coca-Cola, for example, in others, or our Balaji or some of these food companies, once our machine is installed, then for them to add something, because they also require some other additions, some more accessories, some more. So those things, when we send them out, they are able to install it themselves under our guidance through video call. And then servicing, remote diagnostic, we are still doing it.
Wonderful.
This is many years.
Oh, great, sir. So there is nothing new. You already have it in place. Only the installations also, you will go the digital way.
Now we have to sort of make it more sophisticated by using this augmented reality, or some people call it virtual reality. In our case, it's more of augmented, because we have to actually show them where we are and where they are, so to speak.
Excellent. So I think a lot of these software people are available in India. We are the house of that. So it's going to be very easy.
In fact, in the last Plast India at Gandhinagar, we are actually, in our booth, we are actually shown that, how we do that, augmented reality.
Excellent, sir. So what are your views on the Indian plastic machinery versus the Chinese supports in future? We would, everyone is wanting to hear an honest
I think this is a wrong question and a wrong debate.
But still,
First and foremost, I will answer. First and foremost, Chinese machinery is a much larger in scale. The reality is that one Chinese company is bigger than all the rest of the Indian machinery company put together. So there's no real comparison here. And plus, Chinese companies have specialized, a lot of the companies are specialized in specific product-oriented machinery. Whereas in India, most of us are still offering general purpose machinery in terms of injection molding, extrusion, blow molding, whatever you call it. Whereas the Chinese people, they will offer you a specific machine for bubble film, for example. They will offer you a machine for making toy parts specifically, because the toy parts sometimes require two different materials together, and there are 2 layers or something like that. So they are more product-oriented machines, where that is their advantage. And why it is so? Because there they have large processing industry also and processor. Same way our Indian machinery is not so large. Our Indian processing segment is also not that large. When you look at it, you will take a couple of large, let's say, film producers in China, which I have visited. But can you believe that under one roof, in one company, I saw more than 68 blown film plants. How many? Now, so so India में कितना वो होगा करके? How many companies are there? Right? And if you take out Uflex, then I think the rest of the industry is उसमें ही आ गया. Uflex is of course the separate giant by itself. But there are few. So what I'm saying that in processing also, we still have a long way to go. There is so much scope, so much there. The processors are still not getting to the fact that they must offer products. They are offering parts right now. Very few of them like Cello, so they are the people who pioneered the whole product. That Cello made the whole ball pen. Whereas earlier the companies were making only the body or the refills. So Supreme started with the whole furniture line. So those are the kind of ideas which the processor should have. Who makes toys? Who makes good toys in India? Only one or two people. And that also very small and very limited range. And toys is one of the biggest segment of plastic parts processing in terms of injection molding, blow molding, even extruded. And it has got a good scope of using a lot of recycled materials because of multi-layer where you can put in the recycle in between, so it is lighter also. With we can also do gas bubbles in order to make a composite which is very light and hard and much stronger. So all these things are there, but unfortunately, I find the Indian processors are still stuck on making parts rather than complete products.
So then do you think that this whole debate that is going around where you say that because there is a little anti-China sentiment that India should and can...
I don't subscribe to that. I don't subscribe to that for 2-3 reasons. One is that I have very good friends in China, personal family friends as such. My daughter was looked after by them for 2 years when she was in China. So we have a family connection and friend with the Chinese families. Apart from that, I set up with for my German JV using the resources for Indian company. I had sent the people from India to set up the new factory in China for our rubber molding machine factory, and I was responsible to run it for 5 years. So I have been to China a number of times. I have seen that, and I think they are the good people. China and India have to learn to work together, basically. And that is where we have to, but at the same time, from a industry point of view and from a policy point of view, government must take recognition that Indian machinery industry needs protection because the Chinese industry has got a lot of hidden and direct benefits, which we don't have. So it is not a level playing field. What we are asking is that make it a level playing field. The machinery which are not being made here, by all means import. There's no question about anybody. But those which are being made here, in no way they are inferior, because our Indian machinery people are exporting all over. Our machines, Mamta Group's machine, are sold all over the world, including Europe and America. My JV's sandbag, for example, Milacron sends almost 25% machines to America on a regular basis because they have stopped making those machines in America. They sell it made in India. Even the same way for Germany also. So for those machines to say that they are anywhere inferior to anybody, I don't buy that. But at the same time, we have, for example, take a case of power, cost of power, availability of power, infrastructure of power, all that in China is so much more superior. I ran that plant in China, so I know it firsthand. that how much little cost it cost in all these infrastructure things, the kind of logistics, the cost of logistics to get a material. This our factory in China is in Muxi, about 2.5 hours from west of Shanghai, right? 2.5 hours by car, and it's comfortable. And that means it is almost 220 kilometers. It's not near 250 kilometers or something. Now that kind of logistics ease we don't have. For example, that is what we need, because now the GST has made somewhat different. That earlier going from Ahmedabad to Delhi, we used to count for at least 4 days delivery for machine, because they had to stop by the border. We had to get a special road permits. We had to get the C form and all that nonsense. Other things were there. Now at least we can actually set the machine from here to Delhi within 24 hours, and it will go and it will reach. So that has improved, but it is not everything is not there. So there are so many hidden benefits which Chinese people have, which we don't have. Their government must recognize, and that is why we are asking for protection. We are not asking for protection as a blanket. We are asking about the things which are being made here. At least support them.
So I have a question here. I've taken your point well, but I have a question saying that there are infra help and requirement that you need, the industry needs, whether it's infrastructure, roads, it is power, we need all that help, right? What we are asking the government is that you put a duty on import of either raw material or finished goods. Now, when you're saying that, suppose say PVC is there, which we are deficient in PVC, so we have to import PVC because we don't have the capacity to manufacture that. So you're saying on that you don't put a duty, more duty, but on other things, what you're saying is where the parameters may be the same, the pricing may be the same, I'm not sure on that, and then you put a duty on that. We're asking the government that, right?
No, I cannot comment on that, because raw material area, I'm not very...
They're two separate. One is raw material and one is the finished goods.
Yeah,
we are like separating.
I'm talking about machinery parts. For example, we use servo motors, right? In servo motors, unfortunately, nobody makes in India. We have to import. Whereas in China, there are so many people who make servo motors, because our Chinese company, we make them there. There, the cost is half of that what we get here. And servo motor controls as such in machine can contribute almost 15-20% of the machine cost. Now, if they are getting it at half the cost for the same thing that in India we are not getting, because why? The servo motor is there's import duty or whatever. Plus, it is not being made here. It comes from Europe mostly, or it comes from Taiwan, which is not cheap compared to China or Japan or somewhere.
So, sir, allow me to ask, there are 2 points. One is which you're saying that those parts, if you're talking about our machinery sector,
machinery.
Taking an example, the parts which are not being made in India, that you allow to import. What you are making in India, for that you put a duty on import. Are we saying that?
No. The parts which we are importing, they actually are at a higher cost. So there has to be let's say the government, we are already now working with the government. Government is cognizant of the fact, and they are now going to ask more and more companies to make in India for those things, for which they have to give certain facilities. The biggest hurdle which comes with Make in India starts with the land. First of all, land acquisition is so convoluted, so complicated, and so costly. And plus, even now, I'm sorry to say, but everybody knows that land means there are 2 parts of the payment, and the foreigners are not, they don't understand second part of the payment. They understand the first part of the payment, and that unfortunately actually stops them. For example, I'm just giving you one example of so many other things. What we are saying is that the machinery which is being made here, to have a level playing field, there is some import duty on the machines which are being imported should be there. How much and all that can be debated according to the country in terms of the benefits what they are getting, for which we have given all the data to the government by comparing and by actually collecting all the data, and it is there with the government. And that is why in some cases government has put it. Where it is not there, we are not asking anything because it doesn't matter to us because we don't make it, which is fine. That doesn't mean that we should stop anybody, any other processor from accessing that. They should, if they need it, why not? By all means. But I was just listening to Jigish Bhai into a couple of days, yesterday or day before, I think.
Day before, yeah.
Day before. And he was very nicely, he has said in the end, as a processor, I'm going to tell him actually when I meet him, okay, we should support our people like polymer manufacturers or machinery manufacturers. I want to ask him the question, how much Indian machinery he has?
Yes.
For that when anybody else also.
Okay, so that is Mahendra Bhai for you, everyone.
He's my friend, and I have to tell him. There's no issue.
Absolutely.
But what I'm saying that we have to understand that we have to be together and understand at the same time we have to cultivate some kind of a strength internally in order to do as good as anybody else.
True.
Not compare, but bring ourselves to the level. We don't want to shorten somebody's line.
Absolutely.
I want to make my line bigger.
Beautifully said. So apart from the point which you said that we, only make parts and not the whole product, apart from that, which are the other fields which the Indian in plastic industry should focus on and we kind of lag when we even say that we compare ourselves with other countries?
Innovations. Give me one, I can't think of a single product which was developed in India and has been sold in the world. As for example, take for example a simple thing like how shall I say it? A case for airports. Has anybody designed and made a case like this in India? Many people are making it now. But where is the design? The product design ideas do not come from India. We get all this kitchen. You get so many dabbis in kitchen, right? You buy them also, and now they are very nicely made, very beautiful ones are available. So I see them all the time when my wife brings some new things for storage, and nowadays the storage has increased also.
I mean, no, even storage is increased, and you must have helped her also, so you know that what all she uses.
Yeah,
you must have got handy to it.
Where to get and what material to get and all that. So, but then I see that all the designs are actually not a single one has been designed in India. It is a copy. It's a good copy, and then after you put the mold, you do it. It's fine. Nothing wrong with it. We are meeting the demand. We are not creating the demand. What we have to learn to do is to create the demand. The Tupperware created the demand.
Yes.
And then they found that they cannot meet the Indian needs sitting in Asia somewhere or America somewhere. So they put up the plants here.
Yes.
And we have to create that condition that we start giving them competition so that they will also come here. All the other people will also come here.
Correct, sir. That is on a positive note.
Yeah, like Rubbermaid. Show me one company like Rubbermaid in India.
No.
With that kind of range.
Yes.
Rubbermaid in their catalog, the last one I remember when I was in America, we were talking, they got now more than 3,000 plus household products alone. Forget yes. They are number one in India.
Yes.
Also having a lot of our machines, Milacron machines.
Okay. So
here, made in India also, made in America also.
Okay. So with the question for raw material, which you put it aside, you must give your view on the whole debate about saying that shall we put duty on import of raw material? What is your view, sir?
I already said that. No? All we want is the duty is the only a direct way that we can actually gain some benefit and time. It's only a breathing time given to us until Indian manufacturing also gets organized to the level of competing. Okay. But Indian machinery alone cannot do the competition without the government doing other things besides the duty. Duty is only a small part. The whole ease of doing business, the whole logistics area, all the infrastructure costs, hidden, indirect, and all that, everything has to be addressed and taken. And the bureaucracy, even today, In fact, in our Gujarat Chamber of Commerce, I'm past president. So recently we have been talking there also. And we actually calculated and made a list. And I made a list of some compliances which are required even today, are running into Excel sheet of about 5 or 6 pages. I mean, so where is the ease of doing business? That is what we need. So government has to take cognizance only of duty is only a very small part of it.
Yeah.
And industry as a whole must demand this to the government. Okay, bhai, forget about duty. Industry as a whole must say, okay, we want ease of doing business. Take out all your compliances, all these stupid rules, regulations, giving power to bureaucracy for doing nothing. The moment you give them power, you are actually asking them to act, because otherwise they will not justify their existence.
Agreed.
To justify their existence, they have to exercise the power. So why give them?
Well said. Sir, do you think that, what is our voice to the industry, to the government? We have lovely associations, a lot of them across different verticals. What would be your guiding light on, if the whole industry had to reach out to the government, because we heavily depend on them on all the points that you've said? What will be your guidance,
The thing
sir?
is, we have very good bureaucrats. Some of them are brilliant, very knowledgeable and all that. But one thing I always say, this rotation business of IS officer all over the place, that is where there is no continuity. If I go and represent something to a secretary today, after 6 months, if I go, the man is changed. Now, it's so difficult to make him, it is not his fault. He cannot understand the things which was in terms of conjunction of what is been happening and how it is taking for that. That part has to stop. There must be a technocrat related to that expert area or that expert knowledge of that field, of their industry. He must sit there at the top. Not just because the brilliant but they can be used somewhere else also. They are brilliant, and many of them are also technically qualified. So then keep them, make them as a technocrats.
For a longer term.
Yeah, longer term, have a continuity, so they understand the industry problems.
And by the time they understand the rate to take
Most of my time, every time I have gone to Delhi for representing, I would say 80% of the time I have repeated the same thing again and again, just telling them, because he's a new, I don't blame him. It is because he doesn't know.
Agreed, sir. Very well. We've already covered SUP a little part earlier when we touched it. More so, we understood that it is the usage, and because this is going to come up, because so much of plastics is being used in hygiene, in medical, in food packaging, the whole thing is going to come out, and already it has started making noise by the activists, and soon it will be other.
Rightly so. I mean,
What should our industry do, sir? Yes, we all understand that the grass is green, that they have to use it. We all understand that it's been harped around a lot. We know the recycling industry is there.
I would actually request our Honorable Prime Minister to start like a Swachh Bharat Abhiyan. He should start an Abhiyan for responsible disposal of plastic SUP.
Lovely. So he's on your profile picture. He's on your profile picture.
He has got much better ideas, and he has got much better way of organizing. If he starts the business, tells the people that responsible disposal of not only plastic, for everything. Not why only plastic. There are many things which for example, things like the metal things and all that, also we throw away, the battery cells, electronic hardware, other things. Everything should be disposal, should be responsible disposal. That should be taken independent of Swachh Bharat. If our Honorable Prime Minister does that, I tell you, we can 100% do recycling and reclaim so many things.
So I will ensure that at least I don't have the access to the Prime Minister, but we will ensure that this at least reaches our secretaries so that they will have.
Hopefully this thing gets somebody will hear it.
Absolutely, they will. So
we need the Abhiyan. In India, one thing I have seen now over the last few years, that Abhiyan is something people do take it. If it is given in the right way by the leader, people are actually acting on it.
I think our Prime Minister has emerged such a classy leader in this time of that everyone, we are all very happy to follow him. You know, I read somewhere that people are also looking for a leader they believe in and want to follow. And thankfully, our leader has come up at a giant size and we are all ready to follow him. If he does a small bit, I think this problem can be taken care of.
No, the base part is not so much that his way of thinking and putting across the idea to the public is unique.
He's connected to all of us now, I think.
And he can actually put the finger on the pulse in a way where people will feel it. कि नहीं, ये तो करना ही है.
बराबर, बिल्कुल बराबर sir.
I cannot say it like that. You cannot say it like that. That only it requires a very special person with a special gift to convince somebody like that.
Correct. Absolutely. Sir, you've played a very, very active role in the Indian plastic exhibition industry and instrumental in making them successful. You've viewed a huge track record. What is your view on exhibitions in India now? And of course, across the world, but in India.
You can ask this question to Jigis Doshi.
Yes, I am getting a lot of...
He's the chairman of Plast India. I cannot speak on his behalf.
Although so on a general exhibition, we don't have to talk about PMMI or Plast India.
Okay. Then here is my honest view. First of all, we have too many exhibitions. For the size of our industry, as I said already, is so small when you compare to the giant of China or Europe or America. You know, America and PE is there because American industry, plastic industry is so huge. You don't need so many exhibitions. There's too many exhibitions. And unfortunate part is that all these exhibitions, they depend only on a very small pool of machinery people like this. And that is why a lot of our machinery people have stopped participating. People think that we are doing them a disservice. It is not disservice, it is a cost. In fact, after this COVID, because of this COVID, we are already now examining our marketing cost. And I'm asking questions to my team. I said, tell me one single benefit of going to any exhibition first. We don't want to go to exhibition. We don't need to. We have, for example, most of us, like our company, we have a brand name. People know, who know us, they know us. Those who are in the field, they know us. Those who want to come to the field. Also, there are a lot of now mediums by direct marketing, by internet, and all these things. Our industry press and all these things, people know. The brand building is not done through exhibition. Brand building is done on a much wider canvas with so many actions to be taken. So once we do that brand building, why do we need? Why not have, in K, more and more larger German companies have stopped taking bigger parts and stopped bringing machines. You might have noticed, right? No, they are none the worse of that. And there are many German companies who have never taken part in K and they are still doing big business here and world over, so to speak. So that is the first question. As it coming back, supposing we think there is a necessity, I would actually consider only one exhibition in India every 3 years, everybody combining together, sitting down together, find a way of making it work. The purpose of exhibition should be to promote the industry. Unfortunately, the purpose of exhibition today, the way they are held, is different from it. It's nothing to do with promoter of industry. That is where the whole issue starts, and that is where the whole problem is that we have to sit together, have only one exhibition, all of us together. How to share, how to take the share of the spoils, we can discuss. But let's agree that we do that. Then the industry can afford to do it. And there is also one part of the competitive age that we have to spend so much more in India, especially smaller companies, for exhibitions compared to, let's say, Chinese company. They don't go to that many exhibitions. China Plus जो जाते हैं so they are the top people. बाकी तो apart from China Plus, there are more than, let's say, 5 times the companies which show in China Plus are existing in China, in machinery only. People who know, they find out wherever it is. So exhibitions is, unfortunately, we have completely, in my opinion, the exhibitions have been completely misunderstood. The purpose of exhibition is misunderstood. And the way we are actually projecting it is actually spoiling the image of India outside. Progressively, if you notice, I mean, and I'll be, regardless of what the figures are, studies are being given out by different exhibitions, the reality is that progressively the foreigners are coming less, participating less, and visiting less. So where is the question of inviting anybody from outside? And within India, everybody knows everybody anyway.
Absolutely.
इतना करेगा आपके उधर सभी लोग आते हैं, बाद में क्या करने का है?
Correct.
So I think
Absolutely.
the exhibitions are unfortunately a cost which industry can ill afford. We should actually spend that money more for research and development and improving our technology and things like that. The industry will all benefit for doing that.
I think everyone is waiting. I'm so eager to share your message. There is a message for the industry. There is a message, a bucket list that we need to go to the government as a united industry to go and say that these are the things that government can help to boost our
As the industry,
industry.
not as the raw material people, not
No, industry, absolutely.
nothing, all
Absolutely.
together.
Yes, all of us will do well, then every part will also do well. So this is the voice that everyone was wanting to hear, and we are so thankful to you that you could give time. I'm going to release this video. It was scheduled for tomorrow, but I will ensure that my team works backwards and release it today evening, because there is a message. No, I'll tell you the reason. Because this is so valuable, sir, that it is going to go to everyone's ear. They are going to give it a thought, and I'm sure some action point will come out of it and will only benefit the Indian industry as a whole, sir. So we are so thankful to you for giving us the time, and we are looking forward to hear you again after a period of time. Let the things become a little better. People grasp their new work for the way they have to work and accept this new COVID way of working. And
one last thing which I would want to just leave
yes,
as a message.
Yes.
Plastic is the future. Let people understand that. But we have to ensure it. It will not happen by itself.
All of us together will have to, if you know, even if you're all able to come together and do it, so there is only a sunrise, sir. I totally agree with you. So much of passion and so much of
rising seas. Rising seas will lift everybody.
बहुत बढ़िया, sir. With this message, I'm going to thank you so much. बहुत अच्छा लगा आपसे बात करके, and everyone will love your message. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you.
Namaskar, sir.